All right, today we're jumping into a Spanish masterpiece that's over 500 years old. But believe me, it serves as a warning that is just as powerful today as it was then. We're talking about the fatal story of La Celestina.
So, the entire story really boils down to this one very dangerous question. It's all about that super thin line between love and desire, and, what happens when you don't just cross that line but completely obliterate it? The consequences? Well, they're catastrophic. Okay, so let's set the scene. Our story kicks off with a problem that is, let's be honest, as old as time itself. You've got this young, rich nobleman, his name is Callisto, and he is just completely, utterly consumed by his passion for this beautiful woman, Melibea. And of course, she's not interested. And you've got to see how their first meeting goes down. Callisto, he's playing by all the rules of courtly love, right? He goes all in, comparing her to a divine being, saying he sees the greatness of God in her. But Melibea? Oh, she's not having any of it. She sees right through that flowery language and calls him out immediately. She tells him his words just reek of illicit desire. She just shuts him down. Hard. So after getting completely shot down, Callisto just spirals. He falls into this deep, mopey depression and starts complaining to his servant, Sempronio. Now, Sempronio, he's a bit of an opportunist. He listens and basically says, look, if the noble approach didn't work, there are other ways. He hints that he knows someone who can, well, solve these kinds of problems. And boom, here she is. This is where our title character, Celestina, steps onto the stage. We're talking about a woman so infamous, so legendary at her job, that her name, Celestina, literally became the Spanish word for a matchmaker or procuress. Yeah, and it's really important to understand her official title, alcahueta. This is not your friendly neighborhood matchmaker we're talking about. The word is just loaded with all these other meanings: deception, moral corruption, even witchcraft. She's the kind of person who operates in the shadows, She makes things happen for the right price. And what a resume she has. I mean, look at this list of, let's call them trades. She's got so many shady side hustles. She's not just a go-between. She's a perfumer, a potion maker. She can even mend lost virginity. Yep, you heard that right. And on top of all that, she's a witch. Basically, she is the ultimate fixer in the city's entire underworld. And just so we're clear, her methods go way beyond just clever persuasion. Here we see her performing a full-on diabolical ritual, calling on Pluto, the devil. She's literally using black magic to force Melibea's heart to soften, weaving this demonic spell into a simple ball of thread that she's gonna go sell to her. It's next level. So Celestina rolls up to Melibea's house, pretending she's just there to sell some thread. But the second she drops Callisto's name, Melibea just explodes. She is furious, calling her a filthy old woman and threatening her. It really shows you Melibea has a strong will and a fierce sense of honor. But this is where you see Celestina's genius at work. She doesn't miss a beat. She pivots instantly. She drops the whole love angle and just lies through her teeth, saying, oh, he's not lovesick, he has a horrible toothache. And just like that, she flips the whole situation. Melibea feels terrible for being so harsh and immediately gives Celestina her own blessed girdle to help cure him. It's a masterclass in manipulation. Flawless. So it works. Between the magic and the manipulation, Melibea falls head over heels for Callisto. But here's the thing about getting what you want. It's often just the beginning of your problems, because now a whole new deadly sin is about to enter the picture. Greed. Callisto is over the moon, right? He's so happy that he rewards Celestina with this one single valuable gold chain. To him, it's just a payment. But this one object, this one chain, is about to trigger a whole lot of bloodshed. Right, because remember the servants? Sempronio and his buddy Paudimano, who's now been corrupted too? They know all about that chain. They were promised a piece of the action, and now they want their cut. So they head over to Celestina's house late at night to collect. And this, right here, this is her fatal mistake. Celestina, completely consumed by her own greed, flat out refuses to share. What my master gave me is mine, she says. It's so ironic, isn't it? The very same greed she's so good at using to manipulate everyone else just became her own undoing. And the fallout is just swift and incredibly brutal. The servants, enraged, stab Celestina to death right there in her home. Then they try to escape by jumping out a window, but they get badly hurt. The authorities catch them, and by the next morning, they're publicly executed. Just like that. In the span of a few hours, 3 people are dead, all over one gold chain.
So the people who engineered this whole mess are gone. But the tragedy isn't over. Not even close. Now it starts to spiral inward, like a vortex, pulling in the 2 lovers who set this whole thing in motion. Now check this out. When Callisto finds out his servants have been executed, his reaction is, well, it's just shocking. He's a little upset about how it reflects on him, sure, but his main worry, his real concern, is that all this death and drama won't mess up his secret meeting with Melibea that night. I mean, his obsession has completely wiped out any sense of loyalty, of responsibility, of basic human decency. And his death, his death is the perfect punchline to this dark joke. He's with Melibea, he hears some noise in the street and thinks his new servants are in trouble. So he tries to be a hero, rushes down the ladder from her garden wall, but in his haste, he just puts a foot in the void. He slips, falls, and dies. Instantly. No epic duel, no tragic final words. Just a clumsy, absurd, pathetic accident. With Callisto gone, Melibea is completely lost. She climbs to the very top of her family's tower, and from up there, she confesses everything to her father standing below. The affair, Celestina, all of it. He just listens in absolute horror. And then, she says her final words. His death invites my own. And she jumps. So, yeah, everyone's dead. What started as a love story ended in a complete bloodbath. So why? Why are we still talking about this incredibly dark, cynical story 500 years later? The answer is because it's so much more than just a story. It's a takedown of an entire world the author saw as decaying from the inside out. And this table really lays it all out, doesn't it? The author takes aim at everything. That whole idea of courtly love. The story shows it's just a fancy cover for basic lust. Social loyalty? Nope. Greed trumps everything. Uncontrolled passion? That leads straight to destruction. And the concept of fortune or luck? The story shows how quickly it can all vanish. Your happiness can be shattered in an instant. In the end, that's what La Celestina really is. It's a dark mirror. It's showing how one single obsession can set off a chain reaction, a line of dominoes that just keeps falling, shattering lives, honor, and fortune along the way. All because one guy couldn't handle being told no. Which leaves us with one last really chilling question. The story calls it loco amor, crazy love. Is that kind of feeling an unstoppable force of nature, something that just grabs hold of you and you can't do anything about it? Or is it a choice, a series of choices really, that leads you down a path to your own destruction? The story doesn't hand you an easy answer, and maybe that's why it still feels so terrifyingly real, even today.